Highlights now. Let's have a look at that race number 13 start, because this is one that'll be talked about for a while. Look at the bump and grind going on here at 1 and 2. So this is where all the trouble effectively began, and you'll see from the replays that there was no yield further back at 1 and 2, and that was all the incentive that James Courtney needed, particularly with Fabian step wide down here at turn 3. Then McLaughlin came from nowhere. Remember, 5th on the grid. This was the bold move up on the outside. He thought he had enough to tuck down. They touched 17 and 12, and both off the road. And then for McLaughlin, he went straight across and rejoined at 8, which the briefing notes allowed him to do. And then he joined back on. His teammate joined back on, though, at turn 6. And so there was a little bit of radio chatter around that. David Reynolds is going to be pretty pleased with his afternoon's work, but this was a little moment for him in the contact with James Courtney that did cost him 5 seconds in the process. It could have cost him a podium. He didn't think it was worthy of the penalty, and obviously for Courtney and for everybody in that group, they would have thought the opposite. Pretty energised race for 120 kilometres on a track that continued to evolve, and difficult track to get a read on. That was an awkward moment between Simona Di Silvestro and for Richie Stanaway, who ended up with damage and a penalty. Remember that they came into the race today with very little in the way of practice data, so some of those cars out there would have been the walking wounded, but they'll smarten them up overnight with the knowledge that they've gained from the racetrack today. Ended up with beautiful conditions out there and no sign of rain. So Scott McLaughlin, in the end, had a controlled margin. He sat at anywhere between 1 to 1.5 seconds, and he came home comfortably from Chaz Mostert. David Reynolds survived by just a whisker over half a second to be in 3rd position for a race number 13 of the championship that will be talked about for some time. There are lots of little subplots and stories to evolve out of that one, and we get to do it all again tomorrow. We had another 80 Ks for 200 Ks, race 14 of the championship from Winton.